What's good? It's your man DJ Hawk, Hot 93.7. I'm in the building, man. Team Focus Radio, we here.
Another one, yeah, another one. I can't fuck with them. I'll be strapped with all my niggas.
So you know what it is, man. Team Focus Radio, man. What's going on with you, my brother?
I'm good.
First of all, thank you for having me. You feel me?
Anytime. Man, thank you for having me, you know?
Word.
I'm always blessed when somebody wants to hear my story or what I do, you know?
Yeah, so let's jump straight into the beginning. Like, where you from?
I'm from Hartford originally. I grew up on the north end of Hartford, born and raised, you know. During my adolescent years, I moved to West Hartford, you know, and I spent some time there.
So what got you DJing?
Wow. Well, I wanted to DJ since I was 14 years old. Since I was about 13, 14 years old, I knew I wanted to be on commercial radio.
Right.
And at that time, there was no commercial radio station in Connecticut,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But I knew, I figured had to go to New York or somewhere to get on once I was ready. But then we ended up getting a station here, and I was like, all right, perfect, you know, it's kind of all lining up, you know. But I got into DJing in college.
Wow.
I actually DJ'd my first party when I was in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, I just had 2 CD players, and we had a little house party, and all my boys thought, like, you know, he got all the newest music, so he gonna be the one who play all the music at the parties, you know. And it kind of took off from there. You know, I did my first party there, and it was successful. And then, you know, in college, I bought my own equipment, and I really got into it. And it was like an addiction. You know, every 2 weeks, I was in New York, you know, buying records, shopping. You know, I blow $200 in a record store like that, you know. It just became an addiction, you know, and
Definitely.
passion.
So here's the thing. There's so many DJs in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So what made you stand out amongst all these DJs in CT that Hot 937 said, we need to have you?
That's an awesome question. And so before I got on the radio, I mean, I was DJing in a market like Connecticut, which is not a huge market, but I was DJing here, and without the support of radio, I was in 4 or 5 clubs a week, you know. So it made them say, and some of those clubs are advertising on the radio, so they were constantly hearing my name come across the air, you know, and they was like, who is this, you know, Hawk guy, like, you know. And then I interned here, and that got me familiar with all the staff and everything, but, you know, it was just consistency in the streets, you know, working the mixtapes, working the clubs at that time, and just getting the staff familiar with who I was. But if I can relate that question to now, we're all good here. That's why I call it the dream team. Everybody's good. So it's about what's gonna make you stand out. And, you know, I feel like I do 90s at 9 every Saturday night, 9 to 11, I'm on the air. And I have an incredible 90s knowledge of music. That was my era, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I can remember skipping school to buy the Biggie CD.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I lived that culture, so I know that music very well.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think, you know, my old school is very good. I can play reggae incredibly well. You know, I feel like I'm a very versatile DJ. There's no position that they can't put me in here. I've done every single show on the station. There's no position that they can't put me in where I can't do the show and kill it.
Correct.
You know?
Right. You said you just used to intern here.
I did.
So did you get the internship through the school?
I did. I went to Elms College, shout out to Chicopee, Mass, 2002 to 2004, and in 2003 I interned here at the station.
But how's that process? Because I know a lot of people that be like, man, I want to intern at 937. Even, not to tell my own story, but even myself at one time, I was like, man, I want to go at 937, man. But every time I asked, people kept telling me, 937 is hard to get into. You got to know somebody. You got to know this person. I know that person. But you managed to do it. So did you do it just, like you said, through partying and people got to know who you were? Or was it easy for you?
Well, that's the name of the game. You do got to know. That's the industry, you know, knowing as many people as you can and having resources. But to be honest with you, when I interned here, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody on the station.
Right.
The only person I knew was G Money, but he didn't know that I was coming and applying to be an intern.
Right.
I actually just went to the interview, was very candid. You know, I'm interested in doing radio at some point. I want to see if I can expose myself to it, you know, see what it's about. And they gave me a street team position as an internship, and it was cool. It took off from there, you know.
Definitely. So how important is DJs to hip hop?
Oh my God, that's one of the pieces, the elements of the culture, you know, between DJing, MCing, you know, that's key pieces to the culture. And I think people forget that. They forget that, you know, there's a lot of top 40s, techno, all of these different DJs, but you forget where it originated. It originated with hip hop music, you know, hip hop culture, you know, that's where it started. And I think it's evolved to a point where the foundation is lost, you know, so I think it's very important, you know, to continue to instill that insight into our youth on that, so it doesn't get lost, you know.
Right. Talking about the youth, it's crazy because I talk to the generation now, and they always talk about SoundCloud and Pandora and things like that. So with those outlets now for artists, in your honest opinion, do you think that 5 years from now, radio is still going to exist?
I do. It has existed through the internet, which I think is bigger than a SoundCloud. You know, SoundCloud is just an entity of the internet. But think about the internet. Think about, you know, Sirius radio and satellite radio. It still existed, you know. Commercial, I'm talking about specifically commercial radio because that's what I do. But it still exists because there's a need for it, you know. And everybody doesn't want to subscribe to something. Everybody doesn't want to pay for something, you know.
I mean, yeah, but the thing about the younger generation, they always, they want it now. You know, from our generation, it's more like you got to get up and work for it. No disrespect to the new generation, but they got the I want it now thing, so it's kind of hard in their eyes to get their music on the radio because there's so many people that want to do it. You know, so my question to you is, for artists out there that they're hungry, they want to get their music on the radio, like what do they do? Like how can they get in contact with you, or what makes you say, I'm going to play this artist record?
A lot of, I hate to call them local, but local artists that I do play, you know, number one, I do have relationships with different artists around here.
Right.
And that means a lot. You know, if you're willing to come to my clubs, support me, then I'm willing to take a listen and support you, you know. And I think that's the thing that's lost. You know, the relationship piece. That's number one. Number two, I try, when I am searching for newer music on local artists, I like to just pick music that I like, you know, also. Like, not, like, I know that it'll be artists that will tweet me on Saturday morning that I've never ever spoken to, but I threw their record on just because I liked it.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I think, the overall bigger picture, you said, how do they get in touch with you? Aside if you don't see me in a club or in the streets, I mean, the radio should actually be the last place you come running to. We should be running to you because your music is just that high. And I think that's where it's been turned around in the generations. So the older generation, they said, you know what? I know the radio is at a certain standard, and I'm not going to get on there unless I have a really big project.
Right.
But the newer generation thinks, I made this yesterday, and I deserve to be on the radio tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
You know, the mentality, it starts with the mentality. That piece is changed and it's completely lost. So I think the new generation needs to kind of wisen up and understand, like, dude, when you get on this box, you're not competing with your Joe Schmo from down the street. You competing with multi-platinum artists. You're competing with Chance the Rapper, who's won 3 Grammys. You competing with Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, Rihanna. When you listen to the radio, that's all you hear all day long. So your record needs to be able to stand alongside those records. And people cannot honestly critique themselves and have honest, they can't accept that constructive criticism. They can't.
So how has social media changed the way radio works now?
Oh man, it's the same as people, you know. It's the same with everyday life. People, like, I mean, social media is everything.
Right.
And if the thing about radio is that we have to evolve with the times in order to stay relevant, and that's in order to keep that need and that presence, you know. And that's with everything. Social media is not just radio that's doing that. I see advertisements for doctors' offices on my Facebook, you know,
That's
posts.
true.
You know,
That's
I
true.
see it for everything,
Definitely.
you know.
Yep.
So, and it's all about being present. It's all about having that visual. It's all about staying relevant and staying on people's radar.
Definitely.
That's what it's about. You know, it's keeping people's name in your mouth.
Right.
And that's the way it works.
I want to ask you about your name, actually. How'd you get the name?
Well, actually, my last name is Hawkins.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. And I used to be very good at basketball. I used to be able to jump high and, you know, dunk and stuff like that. And they used to always call me Hawk.
Right.
You know, they started calling me that, you know, when I was probably about 13, 12 years old, because I could dunk a basketball at about 12 years old. So they started calling me at that. And so a lot of people in the streets knew me from playing basketball as Hawk. And I said, you know what, I don't want to start over and have to rebuild something from scratch.
Right.
People already know me as this, so I'm going to keep it and run with it.
Right,
you know?
definitely.
And actually, the Byrdman piece is something that, shout my man G Money the Prince. He was the first one to start calling me that.
Right.
And he started calling me that just to be different, because we have a different relationship. Like, you know, we've known each other for a long time here in the station. So he started, everybody's calling me Hawk.
Yeah.
But he would call me, you know, Bird or Byrdman, you know. So
Put together.
I just put it together because there's a lot of hawks out here in the streets, you know, and I didn't want people to be confused by it. So I just put it together.
So let's talk about your businesses outside of radio.
Yeah.
So you have, like, was it a hat line?
I actually have a clothing company.
Clothing company, okay.
Yes, and the clothing company, my idea behind it was not to necessarily solely launch a clothing company, but it was to actually launch movements. And the first movement we decided to launch was called the Cool Kids.
Correct.
The Cool Kids is basically our version of making a mockery of what's cool in society, you know? So a lot of people kind of glorify and glamorize the wrong things in society, and we don't like that, you know?
Right.
We wanted to put our own twist of what's cool, you know? We don't think it's cool to be on YouTube, you know, shooting guns and videos,
Right.
like, you know?
Yeah.
But we do think it's cool to be, you know, if you are that person who likes to go to the library and read books, some people will rank on that person and say they're a geek or they're a nerd, and that brings their self-esteem down. So we think, like, yo, that's cool. Like, if it's something that is positive and it's something that you like to do, how can somebody else tell you it's not cool? That's just you living off society's misconceptions of what cool is. So that's how we started the Cool Kids. The actual name of our company is called For the Talented.
Correct.
And we are actually getting ready to launch the second part of the movement, the TLNTD movement. And you see, you know, the hat that I have on currently. The TLNTD movement is a movement that actually highlights talents.
Right.
So there's a lot of talents in society that people do not pay attention to, and they get overlooked. and it forces people to go and pursue the popular talents and not the talents that they necessarily have. And what that does is, once again, it causes lower self-esteem for people and forces them not to pursue their passion. So for example, when you see a commercial, it's always Kevin Durant, it's always Steph Curry, it's
true.
always Drake,
Right.
it's always this 1 in a million type person that there will probably be never another one of,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So why don't they show, which I'm cool with them. I'm cool with famous people all day long, you know, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you look at their contribution to society, it's not that big. Like, you're never gonna meet probably a Drake. Or if you do, maybe once in your life or something of that nature, you know. But it's very far-fetched,
That's
right?
likely.
That you will meet them or even become them,
Right.
right? But how about that doctor? You know, he saves lives every day. That's an incredible talent, you know? You have doctors that's able to put, you know, take up one person's heart out, put another one in, take person's lungs out, cure, you know, they got cures for cancer that, you know, but we don't highlight them at all, you know? Teachers, you know, we don't pay them a quarter of what we pay Drake, you know, to stand on stage for 45 minutes.
That's true.
But we rely on them to be with our children every day and to provide them guidance, you know? So that's the reason that I wanted to start this. And I have a partner, shout out to my partner, David Sierra. He's an incredible photographer. You know, we was tired of hearing it. And I have a master's degree in social work.
Wow.
So that's me actually putting the two things that I do together between radio and fashion and, you know, just swagger with that and bringing this, you know, social change and movement and empowerment, you know. It was bringing those two things together and it just expressing them in a way through clothing.
Right.
That's all it is.
So I want to talk about like family and friends, right?
Yeah.
So myself, I got like 100 friends and family. Everybody rap, you know. I know me and Kid Fresh talked about this before, and as well as DJ Craig G. So you being a DJ here at 937, which everybody knows, if you a rapper, you want to make your music come here, 937.
Right.
So how do you react when you have a family member or a friend that's like, yo, hook me up, fam? Like, you know, like do you just play it because those are your peoples, or do you put them in the same process as everybody else?
No, you go through the same process as everybody else.
Right.
The only thing that you may have over them is that I may listen to it quicker.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing. Because I'm intrigued to know what my family member is doing.
Right.
As if, you know, any family member would.
But do you get treated differently, though, because you work here?
Do I get treated differently with my family?
Yeah, it's kind of like, yo, I'm a rapper. I'm just assuming you have a friend that raps or friends that rap.
All the
Right.
time.
Do they like hit you up more now because you came on here, or is it the same kind of relationship?
I mean, well, I've been here for 10 years, so I done seen it all. But yes, I do get friends and family all the time that want me to listen to music, and I listen to it and I give them the same feedback that I give any other person on the street. You know, it may be, no, you're not ready. You know, it's not that time for you, you know, and I'm not telling you anything different than what I told French Montana and Max B in 2007. I said, yo, I don't, this is not the record for you. I don't think this is it, you know, but they didn't give up. French had that persistence, like, I'm gonna make the right one.
Right.
And he came back and he gave us the right one. And look at where he is now. So, so, you know, if a random person can take that from me and not harvest any negative feelings, I would expect my friends and family to definitely be able to take that. Because the last thing I want to be is a yes man to you, and then you're really getting the wrong advice. Because you're walking out of here thinking, oh, Hawk said my stuff is hot. Like, and I know how powerful my voice is.
Right.
You know, if I play something on that box, you know, 1.2 million listeners is probably gonna think I'm co-signing that.
Right.
You know.
Definitely.
So
being in the industry for this long, what's your craziest industry story? Like the wildest one?
Oh man.
You can take your time with it. You don't got enough time.
I got a couple, but I don't want to share them.
You can say a nice one. You know, something.
Man.
You know, not too crazy. You can say something light if you want to. You know, we don't want you to get you in trouble though.
Oh man, I got a crazy industry stories. Honestly, man, I try and stay out of the limelight of the industry. I try and be low key. I try and just really, you know, do me. I'm a really guarded person. I like to kind of be an enigma, like to have people wonder, like, who is Hawk really?
Right.
And honestly, I'm really just a boring person. Like,
Just laid back, yeah.
I am. Like, I like, you know, being at home, you know, spending time with my boys. But I remember, oh my God. I remember I was at a club and as an intern. When I first interned here, I was in a club in New Haven, and I'm there working on a street team, and you know, a freaking fight, a brawl breaks out, and you know, I'm stuck in the middle of this brawl. You know, as a street team, it was like one of the first clubs that I did when I came here. I remember that. I remember being at the Hippodrome when the 50 Cent fight happened, and that brawl happened. I remember DJing for Trey Songz, and a shooting happening after, and he gets arrested for it at the Hippodrome. I remember me being the first person to DJ for Drake when he came to Connecticut, 2009. At Toad's Place, sold out show. You know, sitting down and speaking to Max B before he went to jail. You know, I mean, it's cool. I remember Chris Brown running through these hallways right here, 16 years old, dribbling a basketball through the station. Now he's a megastar. I mean, I got tons of stories. I remember Rihanna coming to Hartford for the first time, came to the Brickyard when she had Ponder Replay out, and it was empty, you know?
Yeah, nobody.
Now she is untouchable, you know? You can't even book her, you know? Unless you a, you know, big corporation like a Live Nation or somebody, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So I've been blessed enough to kind of be here long enough to see a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
You know.
So for anybody out there that want to get in contact with you, how can I get in contact with you?
The best way is at DJ Hawk Radio. So if you go and, you know, you Google and you just put in at DJ Hawk Radio, you'll see all my social medias come up. So my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook. I honestly, I don't like to get on social media a lot. I'll check it maybe every 3 days, but man, it can become addictive, man.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Definitely.
and I don't want to give all my time to social media. Like, I have too many moving parts going on in my life
Definitely.
in order to be able to devote that much time to that.
Yeah,
You know, so I also check my email, you know, djhawkradio@gmail. And of course, you know, go to the website for my clothing company. It's up. We just launched it June 1st.
Okay.
A lot of the pieces are up there. We're adding new pieces every week. And that is forthetalented.com. It's really a great, you know, movement that we're trying to put together with that. I'm really excited about the clothing. I put a lot of effort and time into that in the last 8 months. It took me 8 months before I even launched a product, you know, for sale.
Yeah.
You know, so just planning it out how I wanted to market it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, there's no celebrities that wear those clothes. I didn't run to any of my celebrity friends.
For Dolo.
And, you know, I wanted regular people to be able to wear those clothes.
Absolutely.
Because it enforces the message.
Definitely.
You know, so.
All right, so we're rocking like that. I want to give a shout out to Forbes DVD. MREC TV.
Yeah, MREC.
This50.com, and I want to give a huge shout out to Hot 937. And I'm naming these, places or companies you want to say because they always show me mad love. So it's Team Focus Radio. I'm your host, So Focus. Hit me up at So Focus of Life. That's SOFOCUSEDINLAFE. And here's my dude right here, and thank you for letting me come here, man. I appreciate it again.
Man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Definitely.
And I see the potential. I love being a part of things before they get big.
Definitely.
And I've seen a lot of people blossom and grow and blow up here, and I can remember the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
And just you saying that, and before we get out of here, is crazy because someone called me, and this is when I was just working just months ago, and he said something to me. Actually, two people that really touched my heart.
Yeah.
And one of my family members called me up and said, "Look, I see you online. I don't know what you're doing, but I know you. So let me call you from the beginning now, and rather than waiting until later."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember being in school, like. This is after I interviewed, Kid Fresh and DJ Craig G and a lot of these different guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ Michi, by the way, too. That's my dude.
Yeah.
And she walks up to me and she's like, "Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. All of my friends, they get into trouble, and I can't concentrate properly. But I keep seeing you in school and you're always on the move." So she said to me, "Can I hang out with you? Because I feel like if I'm with you, you're gonna motivate me to want to work harder."
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, that's touched my heart, man. And it kind of pushed me to keep going, man.
Anytime that you can motivate somebody else or even somebody, that's a leader.
Yeah.
Is leading by example, and if people want to be around you, that's a huge compliment to you.
Definitely.
And direction that you're going, So I commend you for doing everything that you do and, continue the good work. There's definitely an avenue for young, exciting talent like yourself.
Yeah, but I'm definitely you'll hear about me, you'll see me definitely, man, because I'm hungry. You know what I mean? This is like my second, third time here, but I'll be back, man.
You're welcome.
I'm always
You're welcome.
This is my dude, man. Trust me, I was in New York like 2 days ago. I'm going back to New York. So once again, shout out to This50.com. I'll be back at This is 50 doing another interview and this Wednesday with my dude and all that. So it's grind time, baby. So.
But what's funny before we go is like when I look at you, I see the likes of a DJ Michi, of a Relly Rel, of a DJ Ohms, people that I have seen since like not literally but like babies grow to now be adults.
Definitely.
Rel used to open for me. Joey Franchise, who's full time in Tampa right now. I seen him get his start,
Definitely.
grow, and Amici or DJ Ohms. Like I've seen all of them kind of blossom to be like these young superstars in their market, So I definitely see that within you. If you have the passion to want to do it, the road is there.
Definitely.
You just have to take the opportunity.
Definitely. And I want to say to people watching this as well, and I'm saying this in advance. I feel like if you want something, get up and go get it. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm where I want to be right now, but I'm so motivated right now that I know I'm going to get what I want. The question is up to me. It's about how long it's going to take. And that's up to me. So I spend my last dollar, man, going wherever I have to go. So I'm just here. I'm here. Keep watching, man. Team Focus Radio. I'm your host, So Focus. I got my dude with me once again. Thank you again, man. I can say thank you a billion times, man. DJ Hawk The Byrdman, man.
Yes.
You know what it is, man. Team Focus Radio, Hot 937. We out.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Twisting up another one, another one. I can't fuck with them. I'll be strapped with all my niggas like it's Mexico,